Good morning or good afternoon. Today we'll be watching a Quizzette video on Quizzette 703. As always, make sure you write your last name, comma, first name, today's date, and today I'll say that I am blue for my class color. Number one on this Quizzette is going to give you a scenario, and you're going to have to figure out what integer it's asking you about. So number one, Georgina works on the 30th floor of an office building. She took the elevator to the cafeteria on the 7th floor. How many floors did she travel? So one of your SMPs, I don't know if you're familiar with it, is Model with Mathematics, which is actually SMP, I think it's 8. No, it's number 4. It's SMP 4. It's a strategy in math on how to solve a problem. So SMP 4 says model with your math. In other words, just draw a picture. So I like to draw pictures whenever I can. I'm not an artist, but pictures just make it somewhat easier. So I'm going to draw a vertical line, and that's something that you will continually see in 7th grade math is vertical and horizontal lines. But right now I'm going to draw a vertical line because we're talking about a building, and usually buildings are, when we're talking about buildings and floors, we're usually speaking about them vertically. So it says Georgina works on the 30th floor. So I'm just going to put 30 up here. And it says that she went to, the cafeteria on the 7th floor. And then over here, I'll just put 0 to give me some type of, I guess this is like ground level. Go ahead and copy this down. So let's see. It says, how many floors did she travel? So we're counting the distance between 30 and 7. So she actually traveled a negative amount because she went in the negative direction by 23 units. So the integer they're describing, or the floors that she traveled, was actually negative 23. So you can write that in an integer form, obviously negative 23, or you can say Georgina traveled 23 floors down to get to the cafeteria. Obviously, you can write a lot neater than I am writing. And then as soon as you finish number 1, we'll proceed to number 2. Number 2 says, by how many degrees did the temperature increase in city A from day 1 to day 2? So first of all, let's look at city A. It's right here. Day 1 is the first column, and then day 2 is the second column. All right, number 2. By how many degrees did the temperature increase in city A from day 1 to day 2? So we can tell that city A are the first two numbers, and we have negative 5 on day 1, and then we have negative 1 on day 2. So I'm going to just draw a picture again, just a little picture. And we went from negative 5 to negative 1 in the first city in one day. So the distance between negative 5 and negative 1 is actually 4. It went from negative 5 to negative 1 in the positive direction 4 units. So the temperature increase is actually positive 4. So we can say on the bottom, the temperature increase was positive 4 degrees Celsius from day 1 to day 2 in city A. Number 3. Number 3 is going to ask you to convert a rational number into the decimal equivalent every day. Make sure that you're very careful with your mixed numbers and your other fractions. So for this mixed number here, I have 2 5/8. So I'm going to multiply 2 and 8 and then add 5 to get my numerator. So 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 5 is 21 over 8. So those are equivalent. I went from a mixed fraction to an improper fraction. Now, I want you to consider the division symbol. I actually never knew this until maybe like 3 years ago when I have a lot of math friends that post memes and jokes math related, which, yes, I know that's kind of funny. But one of my friends posted, I never knew that the division symbol had 2 dots that represent numbers. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. So the division symbol, if you look at it, it has a dot on the top of the fraction and a dot on the bottom of the fraction. Those 2 periods or dots or whatever you want to call them, those 2 represent an integer, a number. So it looks like a fraction. And a lot of people, they see this and they forget how to convert that into a decimal, and they make this mistake. Do not make this mistake. Just do not write this down. I just want you to kind of giggle with me. Some people see this, and when they're given a question like convert that into a decimal, they write this, 8.21, or they write 21.8. This is so far from ever being true, because if you look at the fraction bar in mathematics always represents an operation, and the operation that it represents is actually division. So it's like saying 21 divided by 8, because that little bar represents division, and 21 is the number that's up here, and 8 is the number that's right there. So 21 divided by 8 will get us our decimal equivalent. So 8 goes into 21 2 times. That's 16. 21 minus 16 is actually 5. Now we start the decimal process. 8 goes into 50 6 times. 8 times 6 is 48. And I'm going to encourage you to go to the thousands place, if possible. 8 goes into 20 2 times. So it's 16. And then 4 is left over. Bring down another 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. So the decimal equivalent to 2 5/8 is 2.625. Make sure you show your work and that you're neat. Another SMP, or standard for mathematical practice, is SMP 6, which is attend to precision. In other words, be neat with your work, be precise. And neatness does count in my class. So make sure that you're very neat. Thank you and good luck on this week's Quizzette.